zones? What about Israel's use of chemical weapons? It needs to be getting rid of those, doesn't it? Like the use of white phosphorus has been used in Lebanon, and the chemical weapons are being used in Gaza. And good on Ireland for calling for an investigation into this. And of course, what about disarming Israel's nuclear weapons? The 90 to 400 nuclear weapons that that country possesses. The only nuclear armed state in the Middle East. So it's the nuclear armed genocidal state that needs demilitarizing, isn't it? So we must keep up the pressure, as we are doing. We know this struggle for peace and justice for Palestine, it shapes our entire future. We have the overwhelming majority of humanity on our side. We must not forget that. And we will. We must secure the world we all so desperately need. Solidarity!
Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
And from the sea to the river! From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever.
From the sea to the river! Our final speaker of today's demonstration is the director of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, one of the co-organisers of today's demonstration. Please give the warmest welcome to Ben Jamal!
Thank you. And I want to thank all of you for coming out once again at a moment when the political establishment is telling you that there is a ceasefire, that there is a peace plan, that it is time for you to go home. And on a day when the weather forecasters told you it would be torrential in London today, you came out 100,000 strong. So let me begin as the director of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign and as a Palestinian by saying thank you. Thank you for your strength. Thank you for your resolution. And thank you for your solidarity. And we know that today marks the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. You may know that this day was initiated by the United Nations in 1977 because the General Assembly wanted to mark their deep concern that the Palestinian people still did not have the fulfillment of their rights of self-determination and return, and their deep concern at Israel's ongoing brutal occupation. But now this day has come to symbolize the ongoing complicity of international governments. When this day was initiated, there were 12,000 illegal Israeli settlers in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Today, 78 years later, there are approaching 750,000. So the genocide which Israel unleashed over 2 years ago is the inevitable consequence of the international community granting Israel decades of impunity for crimes of colonization, ethnic cleansing, occupation and apartheid. And now, as we gather here, having failed for 2 years to prevent genocide because of the US veto, now finally the Security Council acts. It acts, however, not to enforce international law, but to violate it, not to respect the core purposes of the United Nations, but to abrogate them. It passes a resolution that hands control of Gaza over to the United States, a resolution that allows Israel's participation in decision-making over Gaza's future, but denies that right to the Palestinian people. So the Security Council, through this resolution, becomes again an instrument for continued illegal occupation and a violator of international law. The International Court of Justice, the world's highest court, in July 2024 called for the illegal occupation of Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem to end immediately, 16 months ago. This resolution empowers states to continue to support that occupation in Gaza and says nothing about the rest of occupied Palestine. It contains no mention of genocide, despite the fact that Israel remains on trial at the ICJ for that crime, and its leader remains indicted by the International Criminal Court. It says nothing about the ongoing ethnic cleansing of the West Bank, the escalation of settler violence, nothing about the more than 9,000 Palestinians illegitimately detained, subject to the most brutal forms of torture, including rape. And of course, the resolution mandates an armed force to come to Gaza to report directly to Donald Trump, bypassing every other international body, a force that will act in collaboration with Israel to demilitarize Gaza, meaning disarming the Palestinian resistance, but not the Israeli forces. And this peace plan asks us to accept that we have a real ceasefire in Gaza, but what we have is a ceasefire that allows Israel to kill over 300 Palestinians since it was agreed and destroy over 1,500 Palestinian homes in Gaza. Last week, Israel killed 33 Palestinians in a single night, leading to the latest images of infant bodies, infants, once more being pulled from the rubble and held in their parents' hands like limp ragdolls. Scenes that ought to be of unimaginable horror, but which have become normalized after 2 years of genocide, and now scenes which all of us are asked to accept as consistent with an ongoing functioning ceasefire. All of this whilst Israel allows in less than half of the food and supplies needed urgently as winter arrives in Gaza and 2 million Palestinians live with no proper shelter. So friends, we are now in the second phase of this genocide. A phase built on the foundations of this grotesque peace plan, its grotesque resolution that seeks to renormalise Israel, seeks to turn the conversation away from genocide and accountability for genocide, away from apartheid and occupation and a need to end it. So right now, in this moment, we need to reassert the fundamental truth that there cannot be, there will not be any pathway to peace that is not rooted in respect for justice, rights, and the real application of international law. So friends, we are not going anywhere. This is the moment for us to redouble our focus on our core task as a solidarity movement to support the ongoing Palestinian resistance to Israel's plan for erasure and to continue to build the mass movement, the mass global movement that will place pressure on Israel by answering the Palestinian call for boycott, for divestment and for sanctions. And friends, as you head home today, let me ask you to counter any sense of despair and fatigue we all feel at the failure of our government and the international community by turning to look at each other and recognise the power of our collective voice. Israel did not want to end its full-scale military assault on Gaza. It was forced to do so because of its increasing isolation. Donald Trump, for once, told the truth when he said to Netanyahu, "You cannot fight the whole world." He was talking about the increasing threat of boycott, divestment and sanctions against Israel. Understand and be inspired by the fact that we are winning here in the UK important boycott and divestment victories. 2 weeks ago, Nottingham Council became the 27th council to support divestment when it voted unanimously to make the city of Nottingham an apartheid-free zone. The Co-op, as you know, has removed all Israeli goods from its shelf, and over 6,000 customers have now closed their account with Barclays Bank. So these are the campaigns we will continue to drive forward. We know that the struggle is long, but it is a struggle, as Sophie just reminded us, not just for the rights of the Palestinian people, but a struggle for the world we want for ourselves and our children. We know that that better world of which we all dream and aspire to cannot come into being until the Palestinian people achieve justice, that none of us can or will be free until the Palestinian people are free. We do not stop until that day of liberation arrives. From the river to the sea, from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
from the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Thank you.